So when I showed you guys that clip of that one girl who was saying, well, why is sex such a bad thing? Why is it such a negative thing? It was on Fresh and Fit. I'll play it again if you want. Actually, maybe I'll dig that up here. Let's have a look at that real quick. This right here sort of sums up, where'd it go? Not her, not this one. Let's see, where'd it go? Is it this one? I believe it's this one here.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why do we look at sex in such a negative light? Like, why can't we just embrace that, two people are coming together and making fucking magic and having a good ass time for the most part?
Okay. This is a want to return to that post-sexual revolution ideal. This girl probably has no clue. She doesn't know why she's thinking this way and why it makes sense, but she's the product of 4 generations of this, you say ideology, but this way of sort of like this progressive way of thinking up to where she's at right now. And it's like dumbfounding to her, but because she doesn't know anything about the past, she probably doesn't care to know anything about the past. She doesn't understand where her thoughts and where her concepts are, her ideology, her epistemology, right? Where her ideology comes from. She doesn't know that. So this seems like an innocent question.
Because when a man wants to commit to a woman and have a serious relationship, he looks at these things.
But why? Like, why can't we change that narrative?
See, that's the thing. She's dumbfounded by this because she thinks that the way people have sex, the way men and women come together is through a narrative, is through social constructionism. Is the idea that, and by the way, she's not alone. Brett Cooper thinks the same thing. Now, she's made an appeal saying, well, guys just want to fuck. Yeah, and they do. She won't say fuck, but and they do. But why can't we change the narrative, right? The narrative is this, and you probably heard this from, I've heard this from both sides. It's just in a different form or different language, where it's like, well, why can't we just teach the next generation to respect themselves, to not do OnlyFans? How are you going to disincentivize young women to not do OnlyFans and not make that money off of capitalizing on their sexual agency? How are you going to convince them not to do that and to then say, hey, look, you know what? You shouldn't want to do that. It's shameful for you to want to do that. You shouldn't want to be a hoe on you. You shouldn't want to be, where is it?
Well, I'm a whore.
Yeah, you shouldn't want to be a whore on OnlyFans. You should want to be a nurse. You should want to be in a STEM field. You should want to be an engineer, like in the first video, right? You should want to do those things, and we will socially reward you. We'll change the narrative to reward you for not being an OnlyFans girl. What girl's going to give that up? What girl's going to say, I make money hand over fist? Maybe it's not $100,000 a month, but even if it's $10,000 a month, even if it's $5,000 a month, you're still making, if it is, as long as it's more per month than it would be what you would make as a real estate agent, like that poor little girl who's crying. Why would you tell her, girlfriend, just buy a webcam, get a good quality laptop, start an OnlyFans thing, show off your ass, and make as much money as you possibly can, and then you can go and use that money to do whatever the fuck you want to do? Why would you not do that? Because the machine, it's just practicality, just pragmatism at that point. You can appeal to morality all you'd like, but that morality gets trumped by $10,000 a month. You want to know why you've got like the good Christian couple who start an OnlyFans, and they're not fucking other people. They're fucking the man fucks the wife fucks the husband, right? And that's their OnlyFans thing. And they're making. I have interviewed those girls. I've talked to those girls on Saucecast and hell, even Access Vegas, right? You're not going to convince them to give that up. I don't care what narrative you come up with. It could be the religious narrative. It could be the social narrative. It could be like, well, we need to have more babies. We need to bring more. We got to increase the fertility rate. We got to do. You can make your case, and it can be as logical as you want. You will not convince women to give up OnlyFans. You will not convince them to stop being whores. If they can make more money being a whore than they can as a productive member of society, you until that changes, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to change anybody's mind. The narrative's not going to change. The same thing with this girl right here. Well, why can't we change the narrative? Why can't we just make sex this positive thing? Because we should all love it. Just get together and get in a drum circle and love the one you're with.
We can't. Times have changed.
How about this? You know what? No. How about this? Let's change the narrative. I want you to go out and start dating ugly guys that are short and don't make money. And then we're gonna start telling guys to accept hoes.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What do you think?
I mean, I've been giving chances to the dudes that don't always look the greatest, don't make all the money. I look for potential.
Oh, why doesn't
Women start looking for potential when their agency starts to decay. When they go, you know what? I'm probably not going to be the hot bitch at the finish line. So I got to start looking for potential. Why wasn't she looking for potential before this? Why wasn't she looking for potential when she was in her early 20s?
it work out?
What do you mean?
Why doesn't it work out with these guys that you try to give a chance?
I just haven't found my person.
Okay, let me give you the real
I've
answer.
also-
It's never going to change because you're biologically hardwired to look for certain things.
Right. That's the machine. Thank you, Myron Gaines. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's pull you out. Yes, that's it. It's not about a narrative. You want to change a narrative. You want to change people's minds. I get this all the time. Rolo, how do we course correct? How do we change the narrative? How do we get the pendulum to swing back the other way? You don't. The only thing you're going to do is disincentivize or incentivize certain behaviors. This is Rollo Tomato. One thing I do have a degree in is behaviorism, and I do know when it comes to psychology, behaviorism is my shtick. You're not going to change behavior without changing the incentive for that behavior. I don't care I don't care how many posters you make or how many like advertisements you make or how you want to change the narrative or what your message is or how many books you write. You're still fighting biology. You're still fighting. The reason, like we were just saying, like, why would a guy want to get a driver's license? Why would a guy want to go to college? Why would a guy want to become a better version of himself if there's no fucking reward for it? Or even if he makes himself the best version he could be, the chick that he's still at, I mean, even if he's a little bit above average, the girl who's making $10,000 a month, even $5,000 a month, on OnlyFans, or believes she could be making that much money, or and maybe it doesn't have to be OnlyFans, it could be something else. She's in a different industry whatsoever, and she's still making 3 times, 4 times as much as the guy who had to bust his ass to get up that, because he didn't have the same advantage. He didn't have the same, Pell Grants and loans and special dispensation that women get to get into college. And by the way, the encouragement to go and do so. That guy's to get to the point where he can even break even. He can be like neck and neck with that girl. The girl who still doesn't want him. That's the major problem. You want to know what the main problem with the sexual marketplace is today is that women have become the men that they wanted to marry, and the guys who could possibly outdo that, who could become better than who could be better than the man that they've made themselves into that they want to marry. That guy who could outclass her. First of all, he's not going to get with that chick in the first place. And second of all, that woman's probably not going to have anything to do with him because he's boring. He's not exciting. He's not fun. He's not fucking Tinder swindler. That's what gets me is like when I listen to like Jordan Peterson talk about like, oh yeah, well, women like dark triad personality traits, but only if they're young, stupid, and naive. Older women have figured this out and they know better and they would never be fooled by this. Meanwhile, all of the girls in the Tinder Swindler network or Netflix documentary, all of them well into their 30s. All of them. Every last fucking one of them. So it doesn't change. It's the nature of the fucking machine. It's not the narrative. It's the machine. It's the incentives. Until men like take and seize authority. And by people say, oh, do you mean by violence? It could be. Do you mean by like asserting yourself as a guy and asserting authority? Yes, I do, actually. You have to take, authority is never given. It is only ever taken or it is surrendered. Those are the only ways that authority, you're never given authority, because if you're given authority, it means that the person giving you some of that authority means that they have got more. They've got extra to give. Here you go. No one gives you authority. You take authority, you earn authority, you merit authority for sure, but it has to be through merit, and it has to be through taking it and assuming that and presuming that you deserve that authority in the first place. And most guys don't believe that they even deserve authority, much less take it on their own.